the plan. But here's why I say we can't knock Martin for what he did. So when you brothers are standing out there on that corner and you preaching your truth to people, if not for Martin Luther King, they would be sicking dogs on you, beating you, shooting you, not just being mean to you and being disrespectful. They would be actually shooting you, beating you, and sicking dogs on you. Martin Luther King came along at a time, and now let's go back to that phase. Let's say Martin Luther King would have ran with the Malcolm X plan, and cop hits you, you hit him back. Now, me personally, and I think a lot of the brothers here on this platform, cop hits us, yeah, we swinging back. But that wasn't going to work back then. And I wouldn't have been able to be no leader back then because I would have swung back. But guess what? They would have killed me. And the world would have moved on. They would have beat the shit out of us and the world would have moved on. Because of Martin Luther King doing it the way he did it, it made a worldwide platform for the world to see and say, you white people are wrong. Not only did you hit him once and he didn't do nothing, you hit him 10 times and he didn't do nothing. The world got behind what Martin Luther King was doing. That pressure caused them to start forming rights and giving us the protections, not even protections, I take that word back, but giving us the rights that other races had on paper. That's all it was about. Now, where it goes after that, that's our bad choices. That's our bad choices. But because of that, Captain, you're able to go out there, stand on those corners, speak your truth to the people you feel need to hear it without anything violent happening to you. And not only are the cops not jumping you, but they're not letting a bunch of other white dudes jump on top of y'all either. Could you defend yourself? Could you beat them all up? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, cool. But guess what? They not doing it. They not dropping that dog leash. They not squirting y'all with water hoses that knock you down, pin you to the wall. They're not doing that because of
they
Martin
didn't do
Luther
that to
King.
the Muslims back then. They didn't hose Muslims
They
down.
didn't have to worry
They didn't.
about the Muslims. Their plan
No,
wasn't
no,
going
no, no,
nowhere.
no, 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 no. That ain't my point. My point. The Muslims marched. The Muslims taught. The Panthers marched. The Panthers taught. The only difference is they had guns and defended
Their
themselves.
plan
So the
wasn't going
strategy had
nowhere
to be
though.
different. That's why. That's what you know why I wasn't going nowhere because by that time Martin's dream, which was a fucking nightmare, was taking precedence over everything else. But my point is the reason why those dogs and hoses could be sicked on those people because they was known to be nonviolent. We're not gonna fight back. We're just gonna march and talk that sissy
Why
ass
did Martin Luther
shit.
King's dream
So
go beyond the others?
because it
I
was
don't.
popular and beneficial to white people.
No, it's
You know,
because that's not true,
you know what
Captain.
they'll call, you know what they'll call black people? That civil rights, that's called bad game. They ain't even got to hunt you. You're right there,
Yeah,
ready for the kill, and
yeah,
you're
that
not gonna even fight
sounds
back.
great, but the truth
That's not
is,
sounds great.
no,
That's the
it's
truth.
Captain.
Why
That's
can't
not
they
the
have
truth.
guns
That's
in
not the
California right now because of the
stop, dude. That's
Panthers?
not the
Because the
truth. The
Panthers walked
truth
in that
is
Supreme Court.
the world saw what was going on and stated that black folks were being mistreated. The
Yeah,
world
and
put
no,
pressure
hell
on
no,
Nah,
whites,
no, they did
and
not.
whites
Because
ended
when
up.
Malcolm went to the African countries and said, "Help us," you know what they told Malcolm? That's
That has
your
nothing to do
problem.
with what we're talking
It
about. In
has
Africa, I have
everything to
my
do with it
own
because
issues
if
with
the
Africa.
world cared, the world would have done something about it. And you know the problem? Black people care. Because when the Ethiopians, when Mussolini was destroying the Ethiopians, it was black people that wanted to fight for them over there. We always want to fight for everybody else. Nobody bothered to fight for us. So don't give me that world shit. The only thing the world did was come into our communities. And you know what the white man said? I got the greatest commodity for you. Black people gonna buy your shit. We're gonna put you in their neighborhoods and they're gonna buy your shit. The only thing the other countries did was rape us
That's in
economically.
hindsight, though,
Period.
Cap.
That ain't
That
hindsight.
during
That's
you know
when it
it is
happened.
during that
Nobody,
period,
man, you tell me what other
Captain.
countries
But
came over here
you
for us. I'll
drifting,
wait.
bro. During that
I ain't drifting.
movement,
I'm saying
it,
right in that time
no,
frame.
in that time frame, the world was what put pressure on our government to do
no, no.
That's a
what
To
was
do
fact.
Lyndon B.
right.
what? And
Johnson,
they did
Lyndon
what?
B.
What did they
Johnson and
do?
the
Just
Democrats only
They gave
created.
us the rights. Now
I'm
we
Hold
sorry
on.
about that.
misused
I'm in
those
the
Created the
rights
debate. I'm
and
game
didn't
sorry.
use them
political
to our
power.
advantage.
Yo, Lyndon B. Johnson and Democrats only integrated to gain political power. It had nothing to do with the feelings or how they felt about black
Absolutely,
people.
I
That's
don't
not
man.
what
care
it is.
Brothers,
why.
Y'all
how do you
niggas is
think we got out
crazy.
of slavery? That was about political power too. Don't
Yeah,
nobody
nobody
do
cares
what was
why.
Yeah,
right for
we
the
agree.
We don't
We
give a
know that.
damn
We know
why
that
they
was
did
about
it,
political
bro.
power.
But
But
we
who
don't
it
give
was
a
cares
a
why?
You
political
know
play,
what
but
damn.
it
happened
worked
after
to our
slavery, though?
So,
We
advantage.
so
stayed together. We didn't try to join them. That's how we got them
But that's
HBCUs in
our
those
fault,
black
Captain.
cities.
That's
That
our
ain't out.
fault.
Yeah, that's Martin and that dream. That's their fault.
Oh my
That's
God.
Yeah,
So what
integration.
would you
That's
have
all
did
they
different,
shit.
Cat?
See,
What would you
because
have
no,
did?
Thrower doesn't want to put the responsibility on the ones that was before us. That's what's really
No, no,
that's
no, no,
another
Right.
no.
discussion y'all having.
The
No,
question is,
I
what
think
would you
Bunker,
have
you're
done
totally
different, though,
yeah,
Cat? What would
you're
you have
not hearing what's being
suggested?
said.
If Martin failed, what would you have done if you was leading it?
The only
Who's
answer to
that
that is
question
fight
to?
back.
Oh, that was Dell. I said if Martin failed, what would you?
Say it again.
Yeah, I said looking back, right?
I would have
Martin.
kept fighting.
Hold on, hold
We
on.
should have. We should have went.
Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me finish the question. I'm sorry.
You.
I don't agree with the premise that he failed, but let's go with it, right? What would you have done differently that would have proved to be successful? Do you think
I
at
think.
that time?
You talk about before Martin or after Martin?
During, like, if
Because
if if, if Martin had to
during
be
Martin, so
replaced,
like
what would have?
when the
Oh, go
things
ahead.
happen with Black Wall Street, so like when the things happen with Black Wall Street or Seneca Villages and stuff like that, I would have just kept fighting and kept building.
No, I'm talking about the
That's the only thing
'60s
you
because
could
that
do.
was 40 years prior. So I get you on that. I'm talking about during the mid
But
late
that's the
'50s to
start,
'60s. No, I'm
right?
just
But
talking
that's
about Martin. though. I'm not trying to move. I
so
get
like
you. The
so
people.
like with
I
Martin,
get
you
you.
get that boycott Martin did. When Martin did that boycott, man, that was the best shit he ever did because that represented what the white man real respect, which is the dollar. And so I would have kept moving and would have kept fighting, but I would have never sacrificed a nonviolent movement. I would have never sacrificed black businesses for white businesses. I would have never sacrificed none of that. If it was about
So
civil,
you
if
would
it
have
was
did
about,
gunplay, is what you saying?
no, I wouldn't have did
There's
gunplay.
only two
I
move.
mean,
You can't. You
excuse me,
can't. You
I
can't
shouldn't
have it
say, wait,
both
wait, I'm
ways,
sorry, wait,
though.
wait, wait, let me rephrase that. I'm not saying I wouldn't have done
Yeah. What are you saying?
gunplay
Like it's either
because,
nonviolent
but
or
only in the
violent.
sense of you got to stop talking. You got to learn to be quiet when somebody else talking. I appreciate it. So now,
Done with that
what I
shit.
would have done, you could have defended yourself like the Panthers was able to do it. See, like they was able to infiltrate the Panthers, but the Panthers was some people that were able to show you how you could defend yourself. They didn't shoot a cop, they didn't do anything, but they was able to use their legal system to show it. The only problem is they wasn't really as organized. That would have probably worked better than Martin's movement because the war
Hold on. Hold
is
up. The
still.
Panther approach. You said. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I just think they got infiltrated. Theirs would have worked better because they were about self-defense, and you can always defend yourself. So again, that's why y'all can't have guns. I believe that they changed the ruling on guns because of the Panthers in California, because they was able to carry guns
But
and
think
use
about
the
what you just said, though, Cap. You just said that would have been a more effective plan. But because they saw the threat of that plan, what did they do
They
to
snuffed
thwart
it.
well,
that plan?
once
You
again,
understand what I'm saying?
see,
I'm not
I think
disagreeing with
y'all,
you, Cap. I'm just saying
but
when they
but you are
saw that.
interrupting me. So now
Oh, go ahead.
what I'm saying is, you have a pacifist movement, you have a defense movement. The defense movement would have been all about keeping black people together. The pacifist movement was about joining everybody. Think about Martin's dream. Protestant, Jewish people, white people, gay people, all these people coming together. And you know who gets left out? Us as a priority. You can't be about equality. There's no such thing as equality. Somebody has to be prioritized. Every nation does that. That's why even Thrower's example was that when nations come over here, they don't try to assimilate with everybody. They build up their people first and then assimilate. We're in a position where we think it's more important to assimilate first and then build our people second. And look at us.
I
Where's the
got you.
black?
So
Like when we talk, y'all, like y'all talk about all these things in today's time. Where's the black family? And y'all don't think that that started with the death of Martin? It did. Once Martin, that's why I said the one thing I'll give y'all is when Martin said he was leading us into a burning house. If you want to say that was an eye opener for white people, and they say, okay, we got to get rid of him, so be it. Fine, I'll give it to you.
can I
But
respond?
the leadership at that time dropped the ball and didn't see the strategic signs that was coming after that. The Mahoying report, when you look at that Mahoying report, that's all about infiltrating the black family.
All right.
Lyndon B. Johnson was not about black people, nobody, but we never looked at the signs coming because we were too busy trying to sit with them.
So let me
I'm
ask.
done.
Let me say this. I don't know what your experience was in Jersey, but in Philly growing up, during the late those times, the 80s, whatever, nobody was running to sit with no white people. We wasn't going to kiss masses ass. I don't know if that was your experience. The Muslim movement is strong in my city and in surrounding areas. I don't know where you're getting all this because of Martin. everybody wanted to run and sit with Massa. That just wasn't the vibe. And you throwing it out there like it was. Like everybody was like, oh yeah, white people were great. That was not the vibe at all.
Yo, you talking about one of the
Well,
very few cities where
why
black
is Philly
people thrive though.
I'm
fairly
only talking
murdered?
about those of the
Philly,
civil rights.
Philly was
What
the
we,
black
hey, I'll
haven.
give it to you in 1 second, Latino. I just want to make this one statement and you got it. I'm only talking about the civil rights perspective.
No, I
I
get you.
separated the Muslims and the Panthers. If you got me, you wouldn't have said what you said because I separated the Muslims and the Panthers from the civil rights. So I'm only speaking from the civil rights perspective and the I have a dream perspective. Latif, you got it.
Yeah, I was just saying to use Philly is a